are John at the Lebanon Star, and I am here to introduce two amazing people that I've known for a very, very long time, Robin Wientage, Joe Schutz, and we're here to talk about an event that we had for the very first time in Lebanon last year, and we are working hard as a committee to talk about our walk, Lebanon Where Hope Lives. So I would love Joe, because Joe kind of was Joe and Holly Schutz were kind of I would say, brainchild in terms of bringing that awareness to the Lebanon community and bringing that to us. So maybe, Joe, you could do a little bit talking about all of that and where your idea came from and where we are now.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks. I'm glad to be here, and especially to talk about this walk because this is truly near and dear to our heart. Holly and I have been going to a conference in Arizona for probably the last 12 years. And about 4 years ago, we did a breakout session that talked about human trafficking. And, being from Lebanon, I don't see this on the streets, openly thinking, well, it's probably not my community, so I looked away. The next year, we did another breakout, and again, it was kind of there. And then 2 years ago, we really kind of honed in on this topic, and Holly and I both were introduced to the idea of doing a walk in our community to help raise awareness and funds for survivors of human trafficking. And we both felt like we could do this, we could pull this off, but we needed a lot of help in the community. And one of the people that we both identified as an ambassador in our community was Amy Brewer. We said, if we could do this with Amy helping, I think that this could really gain some traction. And so Where Hope Lives is an organization in Phoenix, Arizona. They're the largest in the country of intake and rehabilitation of human trafficking survivors, particularly sex trafficking. And so the walk is developed and designed by them, but we've actually this year made it a lot more localized, and they've given us a lot of latitude to do that.
Right.
So there's a lot of people here in Lebanon or in the county who would think, well, this doesn't hit my community.
Yeah.
So let's address that first, because I think that is probably the most important part of that.
Sure. So I can tell you that the Attorney General from Ohio just said in 2024, almost 500 victims were rescued from law enforcement agencies working tirelessly in our own state from human trafficking. And, of course, that's statewide. There's a big territory there. But just yesterday, I had a gentleman from our church said, hey, when you get a chance, I want to talk to you because over the weekend I was at a downtown establishment getting a little something for the garden, and I had two ladies approach me that were looking for an opportunity if a man wanted to have relations. And I said, wow, in Lebanon, I didn't even realize. And so he was able to call task force. He got some people out there to help. They were actually looking for help. These people are trapped by this life, this system. And so, yes, this is happening right under our own nose.
Well, we're so used to our Lebanon community is a very safe little community. Mm-hmm. And how many times do you hear about this issue, whether it be drug issue, whatever, not in our community? And I think what we need to realize, it happens in every single community across the country.
That's right.
We are not immune from it.
And it's in our hometown because it's also around us. I mean, Ohio happens to be one of the highest trafficking states. A big part of that is up north in Cleveland and Akron, yes. And the Mansfield, that corridor up 71 is a very dangerous. Well, we're part of that corridor.
Yeah.
It's easy, and we have also Kings Island here. And Kings Island, being in this community, is a place that teens gather, and that's a easy hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
For
and
people.
Traffickers are very wise about targeting people who are in poverty, who want in some way to better their lives, actually, and they will come in and offer a solution that may seem good at the time.
Targeting the vulnerable.
Because and certainly we have vulnerable people in our community. So even if we're not experiencing the effects of it right at this time, we need to be working upstream of that so that we lessen the vulnerability and that.
So Robin and I are both co-chairs for the event this year, and Robin has played an extremely important piece of that, along with her company, her business, who financially have been great supporters of the event. She's just a very valuable tool to being a part of
in case some
committee.
of you don't know this Robin's company is R&W Heating, and we want to give them a shout out because they are a great company here, and they have always turned around and served this community, but it's also serving it in the area of turning around and financially stepping up and supporting something like this, and this is absolutely huge.
Well, when we first started when we started this last year, we were not sure how it would be, what kind of turnout, how much investment, and I know that we were all so incredibly pleased with the amount of individuals and organizations and businesses that came on board. We had a spectacular day. It was in Miller Ecological Park, and maybe we could talk a little bit about, we made a change with the location, we made a change with the name. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, that would be great, as to how we kind of changed that process just a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, so we had over 300 people attend the walk last year, Miller Ecological Park. I think that we probably did a walk route that was a little bit more ambitious and longer than what we should have, especially for the day. It was a nice, hot day.
Yes.
We ended up wearing ourselves out a little bit, so we're not going to walk quite as far this year because the whole purpose isn't for exercise per se, it's for awareness, and it's to raise funds for the effort here. But we had 13 churches or nonprofit organizations locally that helped to sponsor the event financially, and we had 17 local businesses that participated. And really what we're looking for is we're looking for people to get involved with this as like friends on mission. Just friends that want to be part of a solution. It's a positive thing. The actual event itself is family friendly. We encourage people to come out. It's a festival-like atmosphere. It is a short couple block walk. We're going to move it this year to Bicentennial Park.
Right.
And so it's going to be very achievable for all ages and lots of things to do in the park the day of the event.
And when is the event?
The event is September the 6th.
Okay.
It is from 11 to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And so there's going to be things happening that entire time. But we did it the weekend after Labor Day because we wanted to make sure that people were back from their holidays and vacations and things. They could actually attend the event, September 6th.
Now, do they have to register for this event? Okay.
Yes.
We would encourage them to register for the event.
Okay.
So to walk is free. Anybody can walk. If they're going to walk, we would encourage them to register. So anybody can come, just show up at the event. You don't have to register. But you can go to LebanonHopeWalk.com.
Okay.
LebanonHopeWalk.com will take you right there to our site. There's a link to get involved. And again, these Friends on Mission can be individuals who are forming teams. We would love to see it a little competitive, like get your neighbors, get your friends, get your coworkers, everybody. When I was a kid growing up, we would raise money through rockathons. I don't know if anybody does rockathons. we get a rocking chair and we'd rock for a few hours.
Oh my
raise money.
goodness,
Yes.
I remember. Oh,
Let's
yes.
do a walkathon, okay?
Yeah, right,
Get you
right.
a team and let's compete on this. Just having fun with a way to be involved. But you can do that. If you're a business, you can sponsor. There are different levels of sponsorship, which we can talk about. But LebanonHopeWalk.com is the funnel, the best place to get all the information right there.
Okay, great.
And hopefully, we feel like this is an issue that anyone can gather around.
Yeah.
It's it's beyond politics. It's beyond economics. It's something that hopefully everyone wants to see stopped, the trafficking, and to help individuals who are recovering so they can be productive members of society.
So let's talk a little bit about the recovery process. What does that entail?
So we are working, this year we have 2 organizations. One is in Dayton called Dear Dinah, and then we have an organization that's working in Cincinnati and the Hamilton area. It's called Women of Alabaster. And both of those organizations have a safe house right in the heart of where prostitution and trafficking are happening. Women can come in. Men too, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They can have a meal. They can talk with someone if they want to. They can take a shower. They can, they just have a lot of resources for them. And if they are at all interested in leaving that life, both of those organizations have programs that they can step into to receive counseling and to move into a healthier place in their life. But one of the issues is, you're losing your source of income. And so how do we take someone out of that, take away their income, and give them hours and hours of counseling that they need, and a place to live, and food on the table while they're recovering? And so both of these organizations that we're working with locally help do that. They have they funnel them into national programs, or actually in the case of Dear Dinah, they've been gifted some land, and they have a dream of building tiny homes where people can live while they're in recovery and restoration. And so our funds that we raise will be helping with that goal.
Yeah.
That's really exciting and encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the national level is key to making the local level is key to making this happen. But on a national level, where Hope lives, which started the walk over 6 years ago, they have 3 in-house residential programs, and that can range from anything from GED to other types of counseling programs that are available, and it may be 2 years that a survivor is working through that process. They have 3 in-house programs there, but we were really adamant that we wanted to be able to help and have a resource locally, so that's where the 2
Right.
local partners come into play. If we can't get somebody out to Phoenix, then they can certainly find some resources here locally as well.
Great. So when somebody's taking a look at this community and they turn around and they're asking themselves, why should I be involved in this? What would your answer be to them?
I would say that there probably are things happening in this community that you may or may not know about, that it's beneficial for the community to have resources and a safe haven for people to, get out of being trafficked, or even just the life of prostitution. Mm-hmm. And it makes a better community. That's why I think it builds into the local community with better mental health. I mean, all of the issues that come along with that, I think we want to help address. So there will actually be some vendors at our event who will have resources if people want to meet with a counselor, even, maybe there's some sexual abuse in your past or something like that you'd like to deal with. We're going to have some tables set up with resources for those kind of things. So it's a whole, more of a holistic look at strengthening our society and our culture, which will strengthen our town.
Right.
Because it's not an easy topic to talk about. So when we made some changes with our name, because last year people associated with Stop Trafficking or Stop Trafficking Walk. Okay, it's pretty powerful. That's pretty strong. Some people were not quite sure what it meant, but where hope lives is that positive focus of living positively and safely in your community. So the event has really it's creating a hopefulness, a positive message that there is an opportunity to have a better life and to be taken care of. So that to me is really, last year we were figuring it all out. And
Definitely.
we have now started earlier in terms of planning and organizing and connecting with businesses and individuals, and being here today to kind of give individuals who are watching a sense of what this is about. But just the event will be a very positive focus, not a heavy focus, but again, as Robin said, resources that somebody who attends that may not know what to do.
Right. Yes, I think it can be very overwhelming if you care about this to find a place to get involved, because I'm not going to be on a task force busting down a door.
Right.
So I care about those people who are being trafficked. This gives me a place to step in. This is something I can do.
Yes.
So it gives me a sense of being part of the bigger picture.
Being a part of a solution.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that if you're watching this, you may be turning around and saying, maybe this is something that I need to understand a little bit more about.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why this is awareness. And turning around and realizing that it is hitting this community and it is in your backyard, and there's a good chance that it's probably hitting somebody that you know, that you love, and that's one of the reasons why that's there. And just like any other addiction or any other things, this is a trap. It's something that becomes a hole, a well that people can't get out of without help. And, this is an organization and a walk and event that is really designed to help. So we want to definitely encourage you to, if you're at a company, to get a team together, get a group of people that are going to be willing to turn around and do this with you. If you're in a family, maybe it's your entire family turns around and comes and says, hey, we're going to do this. If you're in a church and maybe you've got a small group that you're meeting with, maybe your small group comes out and does this. And, you know, there are a lot of kids out in this community that want to turn around and serve and be involved. I think, you know, you guys should step each other up and just say, hey, we're going to go do this. And because it could be one of your friends that could fall down in that trap. So
the average age of a trafficking victim is 15.
15 years
15,
old.
and it's even younger for boys.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
need to be talking about it with our kids and with the online presence that we have now.
Yeah,
So-
just the dynamics of social media. We talk a lot about social media and all that's good about that. There is definitely the rabbit hole to social media and luring our youth.
Are there things that these you know, maybe parents or friends should be keeping out as clues? Are there indicators or anything that would be helpful for us to maybe talk about for, you know, parents out there of our audience to turn around to their friends and saying, are there any good indicators that maybe people should be paying attention to?
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of things, John, that can be kind of maybe early signs, some early indicators. One of the things as a team that we have tried to do is through raising awareness, we want to bring in some professionals that are working on the front lines of this, because all of us are volunteers. It's like, hey, we saw a passion for this, a burden. And so we are hosting a town hall before the walk. It's in August. It's going to be at Script Coffee.
Okay.
And we're going to be hosting a town hall there with some professionals on the front line that can share real life examples, and then also give a slide deck of information for people where they can get some more, particularly parents, where they can get some more resources. And then we are going to have Dear Dinah's director doing another venue at New Freedom Church the Sunday before the walk, which is going to be informational about what in the Dayton area that they do. And she actually goes into the schools with her team, and when they're allowed, and they give some educational materials to the students. Okay. And she's going to kind of do that same little presentation to our congregation and anybody who wants to attend. It's free for anybody to be there. And these are just lead ups to the walk, because at the day of the walk there will be resources, there will be some vendor booths or even just some informational booths, but there's a lot of other materials available that you can either find on LebanonHopeWalk.com or also at these other venues and events that we're hosting.
Great, that's really, really helpful. Yeah.
The one kind of town hall that we did last year was absolutely amazing. I thought it was, and the room was filled. And the room was filled with individuals asking those same questions. What do we do as parents? And the sites that kids can easily. They can be the true rabbit holes. And again, you talk about the vulnerability of students and who can be real targets and become those victims. We take a look at families today and parents working and struggling and just trying to survive, and those kids become very vulnerable targets. And got those predators out there that we see every day.
Yeah.
That.
So again, if you're out there watching, we want to make sure you get a chance to visit the website. We've attached the website on the bottom of the link, so you can see that directly from here. You can also see it from this post and from this video. So we want to encourage you, again, register your team. Yes. Get a group of people. Come and enjoy and have a lot of fun at the same day.
It's going to be a great event. it's always a good thing when you raise awareness of.
Yes.
It's always a great thing when you raise awareness of something that is important. I believe it's important to every single person in our communities, and that's what we want to do. Lebanon does a lot of wonderful, but we also need to do events that make us think, make us feel, and make us aware.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Can I ask one other question for you, both individually? Why are you so passionate about this?
Yeah, for me, I see this as a modern day form of slavery. And I think that in our history, if we look back, one of the most repulsive things that humans do to other people are enslave them. And that's truly what's happening, whether it's forced labor, it's sexual slavery. These people are being trafficked, they're slaves. And so I just think that being involved in any kind of small way that we can help to liberate people, get them free, that's really the heartbeat of what the gospel message is. And I'm a bearer of the good news, and that's really what I want to be part of doing, is to help the captives be set free.
So unlike slavery, as sometimes those folks had a pretty easy option to get out of that slavery, somebody could buy them out of slavery. That's in essence what this Hope Walk is turning around and is doing, is we're giving them an opportunity to buy them out of that slavery.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Robin, what about you?
For me, it's a little more personal.
Okay.
I actually had a family member who trafficked me as a child, and that resulted in a lot of turmoil in my own personal life. I really didn't even realize how much it affected everything that I do, my marriage, my parenting, on and on. And I was very fortunate to have people who poured into my healing. And I could have never afforded the hours of counseling that were gifted to me, and the support system that I had that helped me heal. And so now I feel like it's only right and proper that if I can, help someone else to have some healing and some wholeness around those areas. So that's why I'm here. I want to pass that on to someone else. I meet with a lot of women individually who are struggling, and there's a definite need for resources. So I want to be part of that.
You had somebody giving you a hand.
I did.
And pulling you out of that, and now you're giving other people
Yeah,
hands.
and so I'm sitting here able to talk about it, and yeah.
It's a really,
That's
really
it.
cool thing.
Just being out of personal challenge, and you bring forth light for someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the idea.
That's the
I hope
idea.
so. I hope so.
All right, for the Lebanon Star, this is John Bissman and Amy Brewer.
Thank you all for joining us,
We'll see you at
and
the
we
Hope
would
Walk.
love to see you at our walk.
See you there.
I stay in your hometown.